Over the last few weeks, we have replayed season after season of Fortnite Chapter 1, and while it might just seem like a good marketing opportunity, all of this is connected to fixing every mistake made in the last few years. Fortnite OG isn't about reliving the glory days, but rather changing what happened after them, and if the time machine around the map has included you in, this video pieces it all together, and what I've learned will blow your mind. When we all finally dropped onto the Chapter 1 map, everything seemed exactly the same, but Pleasant Park had something different about it. The soccer field was now proudly displaying some futuristic item, and without wasting time, it's the time machine. You might have noticed this season isn't a one-to-one of the original map. Things are slightly off, and that's because it's being used for a mission by none other than Agent Jones. Walking up to it reveals an audio tape sent from the future, and to keep a long story short, we're back for an extraction mission. We're just not exactly sure what we're looking for. The tapes are sent by Dr. Sloan, who still remains in the future, aka Chapter 4, and it becomes a lot more obvious what she's after when you revisit that timeline. June 9th, 2023, the island collapses on itself, which reveals a new biome, an abandoned world with surprising technology. But this wasn't the only thing to be unearthed. Deep in the jungle, we were able to find a crushed tank with Sloan emerging from the wreckage, alive and well after the collision event. She's confused by how she got here, but instantly realizes there are secrets in the jungle, and it's not long before she finds an item that sets us on the course to OG Fortnite. This is an apparatus that projects into the sky, which is basically predicting an incoming eclipse that'll end the world. Now, this wasn't natural. The society that built it could have only predicted this if it happened before. So naturally, this struck Sloan as unusual, and she needed help to make sense of it, calling an old friend to form a plan. At this point, we don't know who picked up the phone, whether it was Nolan Chance or Agent Jones. What we do know is this call created a master plan which would change the Fortnite storyline, and this is only possible thanks to Kato Thorne, Chapter 4's villain. And trust me, this is where it all starts to make sense. The backstory here is that Kato was an evil vampire who's made a name for himself collecting various artifacts from across reality. Unlike any villain before him, Kato was the first character to introduce something new to the story: time travel. It's the dark secret behind his success. During the day, he runs a huge business, but secretly all of this wealth is thanks to his side hobby, collecting, or to put it another way, stealing relics using a powerful time machine. Thanks to this, he has collected insane historical items like Oro's skull, Midas's severed hand, and an ancient calendar which foreshadowed the future. Now he's arrived in 2023 ready to steal more treasures from our island, and this was not only an opportunity to stop him, but give him a taste of his own medicine, and now we will be stealing from him. So Sloan, Nolan Chance, and a group of professional thieves band together and plan the heist for the time machine. Using their skills, they sneak into his mansion, which triggers the alarm, and of course, Kato emerges from the shadows. Before he can retaliate, Kato has a problem of his own: Shimmerdusk, a huntress that has been chasing him for years and finally has him pinned. Without the time machine, he can't escape the hunt, so we help Shimmerdusk take out his bodyguards, leaving them ready for a final standoff. The showdown happens in Fortnite, and she defeats her arch-nemesis once and for all. Kato Thorne is dead, the perfect scenario for our heist crew because the time machine is officially theirs. The first thing they do is experiment with it at Frenzy Fields. Sloan and Agent Jones attempt to return to July 2018. Artifacts slowly start being brought to the island, and that's when they realize it's working as intended. The next phase of their plan is ready, sending Jones back in time to Fortnite Chapter 1. He lands at Pleasant Park with the time machine, and all that's there to guide him are audio logs left by Sloan. As we know, she's still in the future, sending messages back to 2018 with one deadly reminder.
Everything you do will ripple forward to this very moment. You're back here for a reason. And it's not to change the future, by the way. Drop that fantasy right now. This is an extraction, and you're leading the way.
Okay, so what we've learned is that Sloan doesn't want to undo the events of 2018. Instead, they're trying to pull off another heist, but the question is, what or who are they extracting from the past? The answer requires help from someone with a powerful mind, the man who has guided us throughout the storyline for years now and must return to do it all over again: the scientist. As the weeks go by, Jones will take the time machine further into the future. Recently, he took us to Season 6, where now we'll see a different version of the Cube event. Kevin has returned to destabilize as usual, except this time, we won't be left with Leaky Lake. Instead, the 0 point will be exposed. As time progresses even further, we'll be in Season X with the meteor once again frozen in the sky. As we know, the meteor brought the scientist to the island, which allowed him to start construction on the Dusty Divot rocket. He's gonna do this all over again, except this time, Agent Jones is here to help. In the original Season X, Jones was still working for the IO, but now he's got enough knowledge to reach out to the scientist and work on this unknown plan. Currently, Dusty has a crane overlooking it, starting construction on the live event teaser, and here's your first glimpse at what this will look like with the time machine strapped to the rocket. With the plan in motion, Sloan leaves a final audio log for Jones, and it gives us more questions than answers.
This is the first time in countless lifetimes that I don't know what happens next. We're both heading off into the unknown. I guess This is goodbye for this me and that you. But we'll meet again. Reality's not done with us yet. Keep the campfires burning, Jones. Wherever and whenever you go.
It's a bittersweet ending. Jones doesn't intend to change the future, but looking back throughout the years, it's pretty obvious he'll mess something up. The cube has a different outcome, and at the end of the season, so will the end event. In 2018, this was a pivotal moment for the storyline. Months of buildup was bringing us here for an event that would ultimately change the way we look at Fortnite. It went from a simple battle royale game to a fully fledged story in Chapter 2. This time around, the end event will lead us into something completely different, Chapter 5. Now don't worry, it'll still be a black hole because Fortnite has relentlessly posted about a Big Bang and teased those words over and over again. This leads us to one conclusion: the 2023 black hole is an alternate version of the end event caused by Jones messing up the timeline. Him putting a time machine on the rocket is probably gonna break something, taking us to an entirely new map. Don't forget, Sloan is still in Chapter 4 right now, guiding Jones as he hunts down an unknown target. Whatever it is, it's important to the future of the storyline and where it goes from here. So how will Jones's actions affect the timeline he's currently in? Sure, it'll change Sloan's location, but this has a domino effect that is already starting to happen. As we're seeing with Kevin's journey right now, something has gone terribly wrong. We know that Jones is affecting the future because of Sloan's audio logs. She only left him a single message, but when he uses the time machine, it changes her reality. Sloan mentions how she's getting deja vu, and it feels like she's recorded this log before. Once the end event happens, are we gonna stay with Jones in OG Fortnite? Does it mean that the storyline from 2019 to now is getting erased? It's a pretty likely theory. For months now, we've been complaining about the lack of story in Chapter 4 and how it's felt super weird compared to the planned out seasons over the past few years. Maybe this is the perfect opportunity to start all over again, bring back all the characters that were killed off, and move into the future with a clear vision. Some of those characters, of course, include the Seven. I mentioned how the scientists could be returning, but if we're back in 2018 right now, there's another version of the Seven out there. A Paradigm who's about to relive the final showdown all over again, or a visitor that crashed the first rocket and returned home. It's possible that the secret item Jones has to extract is a member of the Seven. Think about it, they were consumed by Chrome or murdered by Geno. This is the one chance they have to bring them back. The Zero Point is currently unguarded in the present, as both the IO and Seven have vanished, so maybe this is Sloan's way of restoring balance and protecting the Zero Point from all the things that have tried to control it. These characters haven't gone through Chapter 2 or 3, so they haven't teamed up with Jones yet. He has to convince them that he's from the future, and that all starts with the scientist. Now, of course, this is going to change everything we know, but that has created a theory that will blow your mind. Some members of the community have started to speculate that maybe, just maybe, Agent Jones is Bunker Jonesy. Yeah, this guy. If you remember, Bunker Jonesy hid in the tilted bunker from the volcano eruption, causing him to leave with a fully grown beard and visions of the future. He drew these on a wall, pointing out everything that was going to happen, from the Eye of Polar Peak to the construction of the Meg, leading to a huge battle with the final showdown. He knew all of it, so he wasn't just some creepy conspiracy nutjob. How else would he know to hide in the bunker? It's because he already experienced the volcano erupting. He even warned people about the robot fight. Epic probably didn't plan for this all the way back in 2018, but that's why it's a theory, a game theory. Okay, sorry, I'm a fanboy. Alright, anyway, the next section contains spoilers, so this is your only warning, because Epic Games accidentally left a crucial image in this season's update, the entire map of Chapter 5. I'm not joking, this is where we'll be landing soon, and it looks suspiciously similar to Chapter 2. It's the ultimate piece of evidence in our theory that we're staying with Jones's current timeline, and it affects the entire story from this point forward. Instead of Chapter 2 happening as usual, what if the black hole takes us here, to a different version of the map from all those years ago? It's a cool thought, and this idea is reinforced even more by paying attention to the code name of the island. Last year, I predicted that Chapter 4 was going to be a prequel theme map because it was based on Asteria, a Greek god that turned into an island and helped raise Artemis and Apollo. It also probably helps to mention that those two were the code names of both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Well, this time around, the map is named Helios, also known as the Titan god of the sun, but more importantly, he was closely linked and often misidentified as Apollo, aka the Chapter 2 map. It sounds to me like all the dots are connecting here, or maybe I sound like Bunker Jonesy. Can someone please tell me